Yo, it's me, Gazbot, and it's time for the Horror Production Report, update number 20! Yes, it's me, Gazbot. I'm back again with my light-flashing face man, but this is going to make me go blind, and you have a seizure, so enough of that. First off, who am I? What's going on? Well, I'm Gazbot, and what I do is make art. I am a freelance, self-employed, whatever you want to call it, illustrator and animator who, like many others, have been trying to reclaim time for myself to work on my own creative passions. Specifically for me, it is my independently created, or in creation comic, The Horror A4, which I have created, written, drawn, etc. It's in progress. I'm inking page 14 right now out of a 24-page issue that'll be a 5-page limited series that has an ending, so you know, it's not an ongoing forever kind of thing. And I started working on that in earnest last year when I did the 100 Days of Making Comics Challenge, started by Kevin Cross, and since joined by many others. Some of those others, like Kevin Cross, have completed it, others have not. Kevin Cross actually just completed it for the 3rd time, and he says the final time. So congratulations on doing that 3 times. Once was enough for me, sir. You're 3 times the 100-day man that I am. I don't know, whatever. Also, Thomas Clemmons recently finished his first round of 100 Days of Making Comics, so congratulations to you as well, sir. I hope you have a Robot Friday, and Kevin Cross has a Mighty Monk Monday. These are puns based on their creations. They're not good puns. So anyway, that's going on there. The other thing going on is it's Inktober, which is October, when once a day you have to do a drawing with pen and paper, some sort of actual ink on physical media. Some people incorporate it into Drawloween or other things. Other people, like myself, thinks it's enough of a challenge just to do one drawing in ink, and that is what I've been doing, and so that will come up throughout the course of this. I also did APE, the Alternative Press Expo, which I'll mention in these videos, but I did a huge, like, hour-long one that you could check out, and I'll put a link to it below, as well as I've been messing around with Periscope, and I have a link to one of those you can check out below. And these might come up as we go, because I did the format of trying to take a little video every day, which I keep going back and forth if I like that or not. I don't know. I think it makes it easier. I think it makes it harder. Definitely makes it harder to keep track, and I fear I repeat myself too much. But let me pause and consult my notes. Consulted my notes. I've got a lot of things that I thought about talking about and mentioning, but I know this video is going to be long already, so I'm just going to talk about 2 things. One is art supplies and people's obsession with, well, what kind of pen to use, what kind of marker, and I've been this person, I still am this person from time to time. I think there used to be a perception of like, well, if I got the right pen, then I could draw like X artist. I know when I was in high school, I was into Image and stuff like that, and you know, Todd McFarlane specifically was my favorite, and I was like, oh, he gets all these little tiny lines, and somehow, some way, I heard or decided he uses rapidograph pens, which are kind of like microns, but you have to refill them, and they're expensive, and they clog, and they're a pain in the butt, and I went and found the tiniest one you could find. I think I might still have it somewhere. It doesn't work anymore, but it's ridiculous. It's like a piece of hair, and it was like amazing. I loved it, and it clogged, and I unclogged it like 17 times, and eventually it just died. But it was like, it would take me an hour to draw like a finger because like it was ridiculous. It was completely impractical, and I'm sure it's not even what the artist I was seeking to emulate used. Regardless, as a side tangent, you know, skill will surface. You'll master the tools. Different people gravitate towards different things. Fine. But quality does matter. You know, if you get some crappy paper, the ink might not stick to it, etc. I tend to do a lot of my inking traditionally with brush pens, and there's a certain brand I usually get. I can't tell you the name of it because it's in some Japanese words that I don't understand. But the point is, I know what they look like. I know where to get them, and there's a few variations on that. But I've been going to this store called Daiso, which is sort of like a Japanese dollar store near me, and they have brush pens for about $1 each, which is way less than I normally pay. The ones I get tend to be about $3-ish, and they're on the cheaper side. So I bought a few of these, and I used them. I'm like, oh, this one's kind of thick and it works, and this one's kind of thin, has a nice little point, and you know, some of the points get dull quicker. And I'm like, well, that's not that bad of a trade-off. But then I was working on some pieces, and I realized a bigger problem was that the ink doesn't dry like forever. Because it's one thing for like, you know, I make a line and smear. Oh man, you know, with the better pens, usually that doesn't even happen. But I like worked on it, waited, blew on it, and after like 30 seconds, a minute, went to erase, and it was like, smear! That's quality. That's bad quality ink. That's bad quality pen. Whatever it is, I paid $1 for it, and I paid the price. So, while I don't think the pen makes the man, or the woman, as it is, I think that you know, if you cheap out, it might hurt you in the long run. That's all that is. The other thing is, on one of my walks around the park, and I don't mention this in the video, but I meant to, I saw a couple kids look like, you know, early teens, I don't know, middle. They were 14 and a half each, definitely. But they were sitting there with some bikes, and you don't normally see people with bikes there. I mean, technically you could ride them, but usually not in the areas where I'm walking. And they were sitting and like looked like when I'm at a flat tire, but they were like looking like they're fixing it. I'm like, what do they have, like a patch kit and a pump? I mean, you could do that, but it's just weird that they're doing it like in the middle of the grass as opposed to pulling it off to, you know, somewhere else. But they're talking very casually, and I see them just ripping grass, and I'm like, why are they ripping grass out? And what they're doing is they're stuffing the grass into the tire, because like, I don't know if you're familiar with how bike tires work, but there's like a hard rubber and then there's a soft inner tube. So when you get a flat, the inner tube is punctured. The rubber on the outside is fine, but it's like goes against the rim and it'll dent the rim and it's like and it's flat and it's terrible. The whole point of the inner tube is to give you a soft ride and keep the metal from bending and grinding and breaking. So I guess what they were doing was trying to make a padding on the inside of the rubber so that the kid could ride home despite not having an inflatable tube. And it was sort of, I don't know how well it worked, because I was like, that's genius, that makes perfect sense. It won't be a super smooth ride, but it'll keep him from breaking his rim. But then I'm like, well, how far away did they live that it wouldn't make more sense just to walk it? And like, I don't know, it was just one of those things where every time I thought about it, I'd go back and forth between that's genius and that's lazy. It's quite innovative. They're gonna end up breaking their tire. You know, like so I can't decide if I thought it was a good idea. At the very least, I think it was innovative of them to think of that, and I never would have thought of that. Whether or not it actually was a good idea, I don't know. But enough about that. I'm gonna send you on a whirlwind of clips from the time that has passed, and then come back to you with an ending that I recorded before this. Why? Because I'm backwards man. Enjoy! It's Monday. No, it's not. It's Friday morning. It's about 10:30. I basically just got up and had some breakfast. I'm going to be getting ready to pick up my rental car and then go to Ape to set up in the new setup. I think I'm going to make the Ape video maybe its own video. I guess we'll find out by the time you watch this. So either I'm going to just... let's find out. Bye! Hey, what's up? It's Monday, late afternoon. I did Ape this weekend. If you're interested in the details on that, I made a super in-depth, long video, which I'll put a link to below. You'll also see it on my feed. It will be up before this. The short version is, it wasn't terribly successful. I have not worked on the horror, well, I've not worked on pages and new artwork on the horror in a few days because I've been doing the con stuff and putting together the preview book and things like that. I'm also doing Inktober, which I don't think is a good idea, because it just takes more time away. Anything that takes time away from the horror at this point, I'm starting to dislike. But I'm doing Inktober and I committed to it, so I'm doing it. And I think I'll enjoy it once I'm in New Jersey later this month when I'm having time late at night when everyone else is asleep. I could do some good Inktobers, and it's a way to keep things going when I can't work on the horror necessarily. And to be clear, I'm not going to the East Coast for a convention. I think a few people misunderstood that. I'm going for a wedding and to see my family. The convention was Ape, which is over. I do have another convention after I get back from New Jersey, but that's a different story. So today I have been really playing catch up with house stuff. Like, there was just piles of dishes, piles of laundry. You can see there's even still some stuff here. I've cleaned up like half of it. And also I've been dealing with fallout from the car being stolen. Filling out paperwork stuff, which I'd already done. And it's amazing how many times I have to do the exact same information. Like, literally, what's the VIN? When was it stolen? And like, okay, I told the cops, I told the insurance, and I told my building association, whatever people. So I'm like, okay, I have to do that 3 times. That was annoying. Then the building's like, oh, can you email it to us? So I had to write the whole thing down, email it to them. So then I got the paperwork from insurance, and they're like, oh, could you fill this out? It's like, I told you all of this. And half the information is like insurance policy stuff that you have, that I had to look on your site to get. Fill that out, and then, like, it's just so many times I do it. It's getting pretty annoying. Again, the money, hopefully, at the end of the day, will be sorted out, but the time is killing me. It's like 3:30, and all I've done today is clean up and fill out paperwork for the insurance. What I'm going to do now is finish up the Ape video and set that to upload while I go for a walk, and then hopefully later I got to do an Inktober, and then hopefully get some work on the horror done today, which I have not yet, and I'm starting to not feel good about how long it's been, which has been like 4 days, but still, that's good that it makes me feel bad that I haven't worked on it that long. All right, I'm going to go. I almost forgot. 2 things. My Facebook fan page, artist page, whatever, I changed it to just Gazbot Artist. which I don't know why I had such a long title before. I guess because I was thinking I want everyone to know all the different types of things I could do, but artist pretty much covers it. And I'm trying to unify all my social media as Gazbot. Originally, I couldn't get a lot of them, and so I've slowly been changing them. And you notice I have some that are Gazbot with 2 T's. One of the more difficult holdouts was Twitter, Gazbomb. I couldn't even get Gazbot with 2 T's. And today, my awesome wife, Q, who is also my de facto manager, I guess looked up who had Gazbot, some guy from Norway. I'll insert his name here. Owned it, but wasn't using it. It was like not his main one, and so he hadn't used it in like 2 years. And she basically was like, "Could we have it so that my husband could use it?" And she said that he said yes, but we'd have to like do it in a half hour when he, because he had to like change it, and then I had to grab it real quick. And I thought there was going to be money or some craziness involved, but he's just like, no, that's fine. That's, he has nice art. Super nice guy. We don't know him at all. Just an awesome dude. I'll put a link below to his Twitter. Everyone should follow him just to be nice, because he's nice to me, and I appreciated that. But what's funny is he sent the message. Q told me, go, and I had the page open, ready to go, and I put the new password in, not the new password, the new title in, and I was logged in, and it's like, we need your password, and I'm like, what, I'm already logged in. All right, here it is, or here's what I thought it was. Didn't work, and I have a few different passwords I use, so I'm like, oh, maybe it's this one, maybe it's that one, and meanwhile, Q's like, what are you doing to update it, someone else is gonna get it, I'm like, no, so I have like a paper list of all my passwords, so I run and grab that, and I look, and it's the password I thought it was to begin with, so I put it again, doesn't work. Something happened, somewhere along the way, the password changed, and I didn't write it down, so then I'm like, email me my new password, please, and then they did, and then put it in, please, and I got it. It was fine. I'm Gazbot on Twitter. It's 5:45, still Monday. I'm going for a walk. The ape video ended up taking a lot longer than I thought. I exported it, and it took a while to export, and then the volume was all messed up, and I corrected it as best I could, re-exported it, now I'm uploading it. I'm bummed because I think the volume is still going to be a little low, wonky, but what are you going to do? I also did more housework and stuff. I still haven't done a lick of drawing. No Inktober, no horror, no anything. And I'm pretty much going to start dinner when I get home. So it'll have to be an after dinner kind of deal for today. The other thing I'm noticing is that this new phone has a large screen and has a great camera, but it's hard to hold. I keep almost dropping it. My old phone, I could kind of grip it really easily and just talk. This one, I have to kind of hold it, press the button, then quick move it, and I don't know. Technical getting used to. Tuesday morning, afternoon-ish, like 11 something. I've had my breakfast and done all that stuff. I am not thrilled to be participating in Inktober. I mean, people seem to enjoy it as a general thing, and I get likes on it and stuff, but it's, I don't know, it just definitely feels like a chore or homework. Wow, my hair is great right now. A chore or homework right now, and I think it's because I have other things I want to do, and I'm already motivated as an artist. And I've been working digitally a lot, so I'm like really rusty on my inks, especially when I'm trying to be quick. Because like I did that Rocksteady print in ink, but I really took my time. Whereas these are like, I just want to quick get it done in a half hour because it's a homework assignment, which is kind of the wrong spirit to have it in. And I was thinking how last year I did Inktober and I enjoyed it a lot more. But I did Inktober before the 100 Days of Making Comics, and it was sort of the beginning of my going, I'm going to start working on my art and for me and doing it as more than just a job and making time. And so it was a really good positive thing. After that I did the 100 Days of Comics and things have snowballed to where we are now. But this year I just feel like it's a bit of a chore. Hopefully that'll change, and hopefully once I get some work done on the horror I'll feel better about it, because that's the other thing. Yesterday, Monday, I did not work on the horror. I did everything else. Uzi, stop. My cat thinks I'm talking to her. What? Uzi. Really? You have nothing to say now. So while I have other things I still need to do today, I'm going to start working on the horror right now, first thing, so that no matter what else happens, I'll have gotten my work on the horror done. Because yesterday I got to the end of the day, and I was like, oh man, I need to do Inktober on the horror, but Inktober has a tangible deadline and the horror does not. So Inktober went out, I didn't particularly enjoy it, wasn't particularly fond of the product I came out with, but that took precedence. So I got to do some horror, and I'm going to do that right now. So it is still Tuesday, and it's going on 5 o'clock. I did work on the horror. I did about 4 hours. Wanted to do more, but I feel pretty good about that. What I wanted to do was finish page 13, and I didn't, but I got a really good bite on it. I finished one panel that I had started, finished another panel that I started from scratch, And the final panel on the page that needs to be inked, there's a few that need a little bit more gray work, has an identical background to the one before it, so I only need to do the figures, so that'll be pretty quick. So if I work on it again tonight, I'll finish it. Otherwise, I'll be doing that tomorrow, I guess. So feeling better about things. Just haven't got back to work. It's like going to the gym. Like, I haven't been there in a while. Not that I like to go to the gym, but that's what people seem to say. The reason I'm walking, well, I walk all the time. The reason I'm walking along the road here is I returned my rental car. I had it paid through the insurance for 7 days with a possible extension of 14 days. However, it was like a super deluxe Ford Focus, I think, 2016, and my insurance did not cover insurance for the rental car. So I had to pay $24 a day on it in case I crashed it or someone crashed me. And because it was so fancy, I was afraid that would happen given my luck. And after doing APE, Monday the car sat there, today's Tuesday the car sat there, and I'm like, why am I paying $24 a day to have this car sit there? So I returned it, and now I'm walking back. So that's my exciting day so far. How's yours? Hey, what's up? It's Gazbot, and it is Wednesday morning. To follow up from yesterday, I did work on the horror for about 4 hours. I didn't get back to it because what I did was a Periscope of my Inktober Day 6, I think it was, of Goldar from Power Rangers, also known as Gryffazor from Super Sentai Zyuranger. And it ended up being over an hour. I did the inks, and then I did Copic color, and it actually went really well. It was my third or fourth Periscope. I've had trouble before, but I kind of got the camera finally set up right, and a bunch of people came. My buddy Reno Masad, who's another artist, has a bunch of followers. He invited them, so I had a good stream. Q helped me out. I think I was able to record it to my phone, so I think I might put it up on YouTube just to see if it has any interest there. But what's weird is when you put it on YouTube, it won't have the little word bubbles of people talking to me, so it'll probably seem a lot like I'm talking to myself. Although Q reading out some of the questions probably will help. Anyway, I'll throw it up and see how that goes. So today I am catching up on YouTube videos on people from D100s. And I'm going to work on the horror bit, but I'm also going to work on my commission. And I think I might do my commission first, because that actually has a deadline that's not super close, but it's coming up. So anyway, that's what we're doing today. Oh, here's the Gryffazor / Goldar I did. I might go back and work on it some more. A lot of people are saying I should make it a print. I don't know. But here's where it is now. Kuss! That's the Gryffazor. You. This is an odd angle for me. I'm sitting on the floor. It's still Wednesday. I have done some work on the commission and basically got the pencils, the digital pencils done. And I was starting to work on the horror, catching up on some Scott Sarkland videos and stuff. And my cat, Aaron, was down kind of to my left, which she'll often do and kind of tap me like, hey, let me up. And I looked down, I'm like, why is she not tapping me? And this is what I saw. Yes, she puked. She puked sort of across my pad down here. I moved my pad from this pile, and then I went, Aaron, and she ran and left a little trail of puke all the way out the door. So lovely. What's going on now? It's still Wednesday, and I finished page 13 of the horror A4, including gray tones. There were some pages, the first 5 pages I got all the gray tones done because of the preview book, and then there's a few in the middle where I did very sparse or none, but lately I've been completing all the gray tones as I go, so I guess that's how I'm doing it now, and I'll just have to go back and adjust them. Hello, see. Look. Anyway, here's page 13. It's Thursday afternoon. It's like 1:30. I went for a walk. I was trying to make a family phone call, but the person is unavailable, so I am just now walking. Been doing the Inktober thing. I enjoyed it the other day when I did the Goldar, and then yesterday I was back to just like, there's an Inktober, whatever. I don't know if I'm going to do more today or not. I've been mostly catching up on housework and doing things like that. More insurance claims, because the stuff that was in my car, including art supplies, do caricatures at kids' parties and stuff, has to be a whole separate claim. So I've been spending time on the phone and doing that awesome funness. When I get back, I'm probably going to work on the commission. It's the 2-person Star Wars commission I need to get done, and then hopefully work on a little bit of horror after that, or Kid Switch. I don't know, I have work to do, that's my point. But yeah, things are all right. Things are all right. Lick chop. Continuing on, it is still Thursday. It's late night. It's technically Friday. It's after midnight. Did not work on the horror. Did not work on the commission. Did not work on Kid Switch. Got home, was going to do a little bit quick tidying up and cleaning up. Ended up spending like most of the day cleaning the house. Just stuff that I'd let slide for a long time. By the time I got done, I was exhausted. Took a shower. Had a huge dinner. and then just, I don't know, just was doing internet stuff, and just kind of the day got away from me. Not that I was sitting around being lazy, but just in terms of artwork. However, I did commit to doing Inktober, and ironically, I was like gonna do a quick Inktober while I was watching TV, and ended up doing a more deluxe version. I did a Martian Manhunter, and I actually took a picture of the pencils. The pencils are what took me the longest time. I got like really tight pencils, and I also did sort of a style that isn't my usual style. It's more of like a standard Marvel DC comic style. Not that I'm saying it's exactly that, but compared to my normal style, it's closer to that, especially the rendering with the ink. But I'll put up a quick little slideshow of the pencils, then the inks, and I did some Copic color, and I'll do that here. So here you can see the pencils, which are indeed tight for me, and a floating little Choco cookie, which is like the Oreos of that world. And here's the inks, which again, not this isn't a crazy departure for me, but just a little closer. That background I got from Edward Hyung, an Instagram guy that does a lot of Street Fighter, and this was the crop that I liked better for Instagram. If I did a print, I would do it with that cropping. So yeah, tomorrow, Friday, we'll do better. Today wasn't a bad day. I mean, I'm still, for the week, doing the half-hour minimum on the horror. Obviously, I'd like to do better, but yeah, tomorrow, as I said, which will be now.
Let's try and avoid any more romances with the plant life, okay? I'll do my best, General. 3!
Hey, what's up? I'm back. It is now Saturday in the late afternoon. It's about 2 o'clock. I've been pretty productive yesterday and today. Not so much on the horror, unfortunately, but I am almost done with the commission I had, which is coming out pretty good, but it's taking me a long time, and I knew it would, so that's fine. I'm like almost done. I'm pretty much where it could be done, but I just want to fiddle with it a little bit more. The other thing is, I've been doing Inktober, and I showed you one before. The one I did last night was of Skeletor from He-Man, the original Filmation version. I've drawn Skeletor a few times, always out of my head, and he always comes out looking much more sinister and evil, but I kind of wanted to do a classic animated style looking Skeletor, so I looked at a reference of a picture, and I pretty much just, usually when I do reference, I like to do a composite, look at a bunch of different ones, pull things, so that I'm not just copying. Not that there's anything wrong with copying to learn, or even if you're interpreting whatever, but just personally, I prefer not to do it that way. But since I was doing the Filmation animated style and the lines were very specific, I just picked one image that I thought looked good and copied it pretty much straightforward. I didn't put a lot of embellishments of my own, or so I thought. But I'm going to show you in a minute, and what you'll see is the image I chose and then what I got, while it's exactly that image, it's not. And it's just one of those things that, like, when people talk about style being, you know, an amalgam of influences that you've taken consciously or subconsciously from other artists and other things in the world, or the mistakes that you make, or the choices that you make, whatever style is, it's sort of unavoidable. And even though I have in the past prided myself in having tons of styles and doing whatever I can, and you know, if I have a job I will try to fit that style, my styles have become more consolidated. And even within that, I still have different styles, at least that I could see, maybe other people can't. But I think it has more to do with the medium and the materials I'm using. But anyway, the point I'm making is I did this picture, and I did a lot of it with like a big black Copic marker to get like kind of an animated line look, because I tend to use a lot of little detail lines, and I was trying to not do that. So I used a big black Copic marker for the main lines, and then I used my brush pen for some of the smaller lines without getting too cross-hatchy or rendery or anything like that. I was going to color it with Copics, but I didn't have the colors I need, and today I'm going to actually go out and get them, and I'll probably color it up at some point in the future. But I'm going to go ahead and show you the reference and the Skeletor, and at least to my eye, it's like a completely different style, despite me trying to copy it exactly, which is good and bad. It's good because it shows that my style shows through, and I don't have to worry too much about using reference, because it's always going to look unique and mine, even if I'm like really copying reference. It's bad in that one of my weak points is drawing from life, is drawing from reference. I'm very good at drawing stuff out of my head, may or may not be correct, may or may not, you know, work, but when I try to look at a picture of a car or a picture of a hand or whatever the thing is, I have a really hard time making what I'm drawing look like what I'm seeing. And I mean, obviously I did this in art school and stuff, and I've gotten better, but that's just something I have a really hard time with observing and recreating. And so this is, again, it's good and bad. My style will show through no matter what, but it's also, you could see deviances even though I was trying to be exact. But anyway, let me throw it up, right? Anyway, that was Skeletor. So I did that yesterday. I did a good chunk of work on the commission, which I'm finishing today. I don't know if I could show it to you yet, so I'm not going to put it up right now. And I took a break on that because, like I said, it could be done, but I got to fiddle with it a little bit. I'm going out to the store. I'm going to go to Michael's, get some Copics. I'm going to start replacing the art supplies I lost in my car. The car thing that was stolen, in case you didn't know, the ongoing case is still open, and I gotta wait like 2 weeks total before they say it's done, and I can get whatever money I get and maybe buy a new car, whatever. But my renter's insurance, which was separate, even though it's still under the same policy, I had to give all the information again, blah, 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 but it got resolved really quick, and they said, okay, you're entitled to a couple $100, and we're gonna send you a check. I'll probably get it like Monday or something. I don't need to wait for the check, though. I can go start buying because I know that money's coming in. And the main thing I need to get is an easel and a drawing board in case I get a live caricature job. I need that stuff. And I'm also going to get some Copics and things like that. So that's my day right now. When I get back, I'll probably finish up this commission and do it in Inktober. And if I have time, work on the horror. And that's Saturday.
And here is the Star Trek pop-up book.
It's really weird out right now. It's 7 o'clock. And you can see like the sun is still kind of out, but if you look over here, I don't know, it's just weird. It looks like right before or after a hurricane or a twister, a tornado or something. I mean, daylight savings is going to be coming up, so this will be 6 as opposed to 7. But it's just, I don't know, it's a weird, like the exact moment the sun went down. I must have hit as I walked outside, and it's just, I don't know. It feels like being in a end of the world movie or something. That's all. And now it's Sunday afternoon-ish. Yesterday was pretty productive. Wow, that lighting is awesome. Oh, let me tell you about art. Yesterday was pretty productive. Like I said, I finished up the commission I had been working on for a while. I also decided to use Copic inks on that Skeletor Inktober I did, which came out pretty good, and I might decide to do a print of it. Actually, here's the colors for that. Look, it's a Quellen in the background. Then I did my new Inktober, which was Sabine from Rebels, Star Wars Rebels, which is a CG show. And it was a bit of a departure because it's a really stylized look, and it's not something I normally do. Then I also decided to do Copics on top of that. I also went to the store and bought new Copics that colors that I needed for Skeletor. Didn't quite have the ones I needed for Sabine, but I still pushed forward and did it anyway. It came out okay. I don't love it, you know, but it's funny, but by being on top of my to-do list and getting things done more, it like relieves some of the pressure in a weird way. Like I cleaned, I did a lot of house cleaning, and I've been putting a lot of work into the Inktober's, and then I get my client work done, and I'm going for walks and all this other stuff. So it has two effects. One, that when I relax, I don't feel as guilty, and two, that it weirdly takes some of that pressure off. Like this morning, I got up and I started working on some videos for my Toy Shots series that has been falling behind. And I wasn't like, oh God, I gotta do this. I was like, oh, okay, well, I got a lot of other stuff done, and I'll start working on this now. And then tomorrow I'll work on the horror. And, you know, like, by keeping busy, it makes it easier to keep busy. And as I said, it takes some of the guilt away because we're going to Japantown now. And I'm like, oh, I was gonna work on the videos. But it's like, that's fine. I've been getting stuff done. I'm okay. I'm okay, guys. I'm okay. Hey, what's up? Round Table Pizza. That's right, me, Gazbot at Round Table Pizza. It is Monday in the late afternoon. Actually, it's about 4 o'clock. Today I had to bring the car in to get serviced, which always takes several hours, so I scheduled it later in the day. Earlier in the day I finished the Toy Shots video, it's processing when I went out. Then I did about an hour and a half work on the new horror page. And actually I can show you what I did. I basically did a panel that is just Boots' face, once again kind of going for the easy panel, although considering it took me about an hour to do that one panel, easy is a relative term. But I'll go ahead and show you where I am. Just here, there's that. Blah. I also, you know, I've been doing the Inktober's and everything. Last night I did one I was not very happy with. If you want to see it, you can look on other social media. I will not post it here. But I had to kill time, so I went to Round Table Pizza, got a late lunch of a pizza, and it's like usually dead and there's booths, so I could just sit there and chill out. And I did my Inktober for today, which I was happier with. I might do Copics on it later, but for right now it's just a black and white ink drawing that I did all in brush pen, and it is the DC superhero Firestorm, which I will show you here. That's him. So I'm gonna end this little section of update, and then I'll update again later on tonight, and this will probably be my final one for this video. So see you in a second, which for me is several hours. It's about 10:30 at night. I am outside of the Santa Clara Sheriff's Office. I got home, the auto thing, hey, it's been a car full of doing stuff day. My car was supposed to be done around 5. I got there like 4:45, and she's like, oh, it's almost ready. Cut to 6:15 when I finally got my car. Luckily, Hugh got a ride home because I was supposed to pick her up, and I needed to make prints and do a few other things. So I'm gonna pause for a sec. Here I am in my car. I just want to finish my thought. So Hugh got a ride home. I went and made some prints of the commission I did. I got permission. What I've been doing, well, what I've been doing like twice, is if someone commissions me, I give them a discount if they're okay with me making a print of it. Because a lot of times people want it to be their special thing or whatever, but this person, I said, hey, I'll give you X amount off if I can make prints as well. They said, sure, great. So I made some prints for them and for me to sell at the show, which I'll be going to when I get back from my East Coast trip. It's like 3 days later, so I won't really have time to do anything, so I'm kind of preparing for it now. Had some trouble there with the printing, which I'm not going to get into, but it worked out in the end. And then basically picked up some Taco Bell on the way home. Got home, was finally eating dinner at like 7:30, 8 o'clock when I normally eat like 6:30. Got a call, unknown number. Well, let me see who it is. And it was the Santa Clara Police Department. We found your car. They found my stolen car. But they're like, it doesn't seem to be damaged, and it wasn't stripped, and it was just parked on the side of the road, so theoretically it's fine. Now, until I get in it and it doesn't have, like, you know, poop and, you know, cocaine all over it or something, I'm not ecstatic yet, but it's looking hopeful. But then I also got a call from the sheriff's office, and basically I'm at the sheriff's office now. I left immediately, had to go to both these places. The police department, they're both like closed, I'm sorry, the police department's closed during the night, but they have like a buzzer, and they're like, oh, use the buzzer and we'll come around. Hit the buzzer, and it was like out of order, making weird sounds. So then I called and like, oh yeah, that doesn't work. I'm like, you told me to use it. But then an officer came really quick, brought me in, filled out my paperwork. From the time I got there to the time I left was like 10 minutes, including an officer having to drive up. So it was pretty good service. Then I came to the sheriff's office, which is open 24 hours a day. Went in, there was a few people working back there. I was the only one in. The short version is it's been over a half hour until I got out. And it was like, I'm the only one here. And they just had to take it, make a copy, make a new one, give me a copy. And here's the thing, whatever, it was a half hour, it's not the end of the world. I mean, my night's shot already anyway. But I'm thinking, like, what if I came during the day and had to wait? Like if there was 5 people ahead of me, would that mean I'd be here for 3 hours? Like, it's insanity. Like, I don't know. Anyway, now I need to stop at Target, which is something I was going to do earlier and didn't have time to just pick up like milk and a few things that I need for the morning, and then go home. So needless to say, I'm really glad I did my Inktober earlier. I'm really glad I worked on the horror earlier because I don't plan on doing any drawing when I get home tonight. Yeah, so blah. Oh yeah, one more thing. I almost forgot. Here's a complication. My insurance company sent me a UPS package and was like, fill all this stuff out, send it back immediately, including whatever sets of keys you have, which I did. But now, theoretically, I'm picking up the car tomorrow. I could pick it up tonight, but I have to pay extra money to get the gate fee. I'm not sure what my insurance covers, so I'm going to just wait and do it tomorrow. It's cheaper to pay for an extra night than to have them come out in the middle of the night and do it. However, if I go and pick it up, I have no key. So I'm not sure if I'm supposed to leave it in storage and insurance pays for it, or get it towed to my house and let it sit till insurance mails my keys back. Somebody said they might do a thing where they'll just pay me for the car anyway, which seems crazy, and I'd rather have my car back assuming it's in good shape. So the adventure's not over. Which brings us to today, which should be the wrap-up of the video. I actually went another day. We're at the end of Tuesday today. So today, I don't know, I was having a hard time getting going. I think because I did so much yesterday that, you know, just dealing with car stuff and being out, and I didn't have a great night's sleep and stuff. But I had to deal with more car stuff this morning, calling the insurance and everything. I still have no answer. My car has been impounded. It's sitting there, costing either me or the insurance company money, but I don't have the keys to get it, so I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I called the insurance company this morning, left 2 different messages. They never got back to me. Whatever. Anyway, so I dealt with that. Mainly what I did today is I worked on Kid Switch. I need to have a page. Well, I want to have a page done before New Jersey. It's not done, but I worked on it. And I also worked on some housekeeping stuff, and I put a new print up for sale, which was the Baltimore Sagian, which I had showed before, but now you can get it on my Etsy store. So I'll put that below. And I'm going to be putting up a few more prints and things like that in the near future. I've not done my Inktober yet today. I'll be doing that later. But today, yeah, I just had a hard time, like, getting going and doing stuff. And I kept taking breaks to lie on the floor for 5 minutes looking at my phone and dumb stuff like that. I wasn't completely useless, but it was almost like I did a half day, which I didn't feel particularly good about. Did not work on the horror today, at least not yet. But I might put in a little time tomorrow and or just make that a priority tomorrow. So it's been, again, almost 2 weeks since my last update, and a lot's happened. We had Ape and all that other stuff. I'll have a ton of links below to other videos. I did a new toy shots, and I did some other stuff, all of which will just have links below rather than me link to them right here. And yeah, funny enough, this is not the last thing I filmed, because I need to film the introduction with my notes of things I forgot to talk about, which you've already seen, so you know what I'm gonna say. Good for you. Anyway, this has been Gazbot with the Horror Production Report, and I'm Futuro. See you next time. It's Inktober. It's Inktober!